And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Market Recap, Monday, July the 25th. I'm John Hoagland. Thanks for trusting me with your time. Probably a little slow, maybe a little frustrating day today. We were kind of expecting some smaller ranges, some range-bound trade, and that's what we got. The stocks remain range-bound, but mostly with mixed results. It looks like we finally got the Nasdaq higher on the day, just as we recovered the earlier losses that we assumed, and basically ended the day where we ended last Friday, and that was largely to be expected. We didn't have a lot of information. We didn't have a lot of economic numbers today. We know what we're facing for the rest of the week, so a lot of traders just taking the time to even out inventories, get out of some positions, some hedging going on, and it just seems to make sense. J.P. Morgan's Kolanovic says that he thinks that a mild recession is already priced in to the market. All right, I'd go with that. I'd be all right with that, but who knows? Crude prices closed higher by just under 2% today, and the world just seems to be waiting for information. And as a reminder, tomorrow morning, the FOMC meeting begins. Case-Shiller home prices, FHFA home price index comes out, consumer confidence, new home sales, all of that tomorrow morning. And then, of course, durable goods, international trade in goods, and the FOMC on Wednesday, along with the EIA Petroleum Status Report. Then the biggie, GDP, on Thursday. So lots of folks just kind of waiting, wondering what's going to happen, and making sure that they are hopefully protecting themselves. And hopefully, you had a decent trading day today. But again, really, the world is just awaiting the new information that we are going to be getting over the next 4 sessions. Don't forget, we have some pretty major earnings due out this week as well. As far as, crude ended up $2 higher, but still within Friday's range, regular trading hour range, and very low volume in all of these markets except for the natural gas, which continued its push to the upside. The E-mini S&P and the Nasdaq, again, small rotational ranges. The markets did exceed the initial balances on both sides, and that tends to create an opportunity for range traders. It's never easy, and if you find yourself kind of emotional on those extremes, it's gonna lead to a tough day for you. Again, low volume in all of the equities today. Gold, low volume as well. It was lower, but short time frame balance still remains. The euro continues to idle near major resistance in that weekly kickoff high, again on low volume. No volume in the 10-year also, prepping for the information coming out on Wednesday, mostly for the 10-year. And the natural gas, I've been saying that the auction is healthy to the upside, increasing open interest, increasing volume, and that continued today. It provides another decent upside opportunity for those nat gas traders today. Maybe a little bit lower than usual, but where I'm seeing on the daily, it looks like it a little bit higher than Friday's volume in the natural gas. So, if you find that you're finding good trade locations, if you find that you're right the market a lot, and you're struggling as far as your execution is concerned, you're certainly not alone. Today was a tough day for pretty much everybody, especially when we've been seeing some decent ranges. We've been seeing some good range extensions. Even though we may have expected shorter, smaller ranges today, it's difficult to change gears, and changing gears is what kind of puts us in that in an emotional state. But if you know that you're finding good trade locations, and you know that you're finding the opportunities, or at least right the way the market goes, you don't want to give up. You don't want to quit. You're getting to where you want to go. And this is something that I think we have to learn over and over and over again. I mean, I've been a trader for 30 years, and I continue to struggle at extremes. I continue to struggle with trade management. Trade management has always been a challenge for me. And I've become very good at hypothesizing opportunities and maybe getting into trades. And, it's one thing to be right. It's another thing to make money. If you're struggling making money, even though you're right, you're getting there. Give yourself time, continue to work at it. And we all struggle with these things at times, from time to time. It is something that, we end up learning over and over again, because we can get the right answer and we can have the right answer for a while. But one thing we know for sure, the market's going to change the questions. I think the market changed the questions after the first of the year, when the S&P started, instead of grinding higher, they started heading lower. And I think there may be a change. A lot of what's going to happen this week is going to be big in that decision as to, what investors do, what traders do. We don't know. It's a matter of trading what we see and trying to manage ourselves. If we get upset, it's probably better off to just step away for a little while. If you find that you're getting stopped out of trades and getting right back into trades, set up a rule for yourself. Let's take 5 or 10 minutes after a losing trade to really try and calm down and then look for the next opportunity. This is so hard that it's eaten a lot of good people. I've seen it happen, and I've been eaten myself, and I continue to come back, and I continue to just try and make money with some sort of consistency. I've been able to do that. You're able to do that as well. I don't think that there's anybody that can't do this. It's just a matter of putting yourself in the right mindset and looking for the right opportunities. Sometimes when the market is going one direction, it leads us to believe that we need to go in that direction. And sometimes the opposite is true. If you were in group coaching today, we talked a lot about the idea that, for a while in the pit, man, I would buy every high and sell every low. All I had to do was respond differently to that emotion, and my performance improved almost overnight. It's just that difficult. And, it's like golf. If you don't play golf much, if there's one or two good swipes, one or two good strokes, and you get a good shot, it's what keeps you coming back. We find that there's good opportunities in trading, and sometimes we're really going to be on. We're going to be in tune with the market, or the market's going to be in tune with the strategy that we're currently trading. And then it's not. But it's a matter of sticking through it, working your way through, being cognitive in everything you do, recognizing when you're compromised by emotion and what it is that causes your emotion, that causes you to be compromised by that emotion. For me, it's less about a specific dollar amount. It's more about a consecutive number of losses. If I have 3 consecutive losses, that irks me. And it's not an ego thing. It's just I want to be on the right side. And if I have 3 consecutive losses, I know that irks me, and I know I'm compromised. So I have to take a break. I can't take a trade for a little while. And sometimes that causes me to miss a really good trade. But it's okay, because there's another one coming down the pipe. There's always, as Patak says, there's always another wave coming along. So let's, try and stay calm. Try and if you're having a rough day, step away. Don't exacerbate it because you get emotional. Get rid of that venom. Easier said than done. Find some way to get rid of that venom, and then re-engage. Flip-flopping, probably not the best idea. It's probably worked at one point or another, and there are periods of time when it's the right thing to do, but not all that often, it seems. So it's, there's today, if we said to ourselves, my hypothesis is we're going to set a range and we're going to just work the extremes of that range. The S&Ps, they extended it on both sides of the initial balance, just, I think, far enough to attract people to see if maybe we're going to get some big breakout to the upside or some big breakout to the downside. But sticking with your hypothesis today that we were going to remain range bound actually ended up paying throughout the early part of the session today, and then again at the end of the day when the S&Ps took that look outside of the initial balance, rejected, and then turned around and came all the way back to higher on the day. It's just rotation is that way. So it can be tough, man. Tachyon, good afternoon. Glitter sandwich. It feels like that tense build-up before a jump scare. I don't know. We'll see tomorrow and Wednesday, won't we? Frederico, Tachyon, good relaxing day. Did some self-reflection. Finished most of the tasks that I've been procrastinating about. Focused on emotional integrity and recovered to good levels. Good job. What do we got here? All right. Vince, my guy, it's good to see you. Spencer, always going to take Tuesday and Wednesday off. Was already going to take Tuesday and Wednesday off, but I should have taken today off too. Oh well, I'll get back at it on Thursday. All right, yep. If you want to step away, I mean, there's going to be a lot of risk. It's going to be crazy, I think. A lot of folks speculating that it's going to be a very crazy week this week, but we're going to have to see, of course, with all this information. It's a lot to digest in a very short period of time. I'm going to be really, really cautious myself. Scott saw and he conquered. George, good afternoon. Lacey, George says hello. She's laying down over there, just a big lump of black fur. Bill Phillips, good afternoon. D.A. Orion, good to see you. Kyle, Josh, got chopped today, but pulled out a win about being down almost 1,000. Ugh, stressful, yes. Just make sure that that win of coming back from $1,000 loss. Hopefully, you were staying in process and in strategy to do so, and that's going to be a big win then. When we just start taking trades to try and make money back, sometimes it's going to work, but it's kind of enforcing bad habits. So be honest with yourself as to how you did that today. Was it in strategy? Awesome. If you got out of strategy and you ended up with a big win, remember that the next time you're in that situation, because it seems 99 times out of 100, it just makes things worse. George Duque, good to see you. Blake, man, 2 hours of perfect trading. I got 8 up in the last 10 minutes. Yeah, that rip to the upside was relatively vicious. Good afternoon, Joe PD. This action just stinks. Yeah, well, on that gas, volume was also low. Haggle matters. Brown, hello. Blake Roberts, I'm so dang tired after that loss. I feel like sleeping now. 10 minutes canceled out 3 days. It's so brutal when that happens, and it is exhausting. It's not just capital that we're trading. It's also mental capital. And, taking losses and even taking wins uses up a lot of mental capital. Dan Trader, good afternoon. Josh, Blake, the one time I didn't, man, often I do. I was scalping off a hidden bearish divergence and spiked against me instantly. Don't feel dumb. There's nothing dumb. Just something to learn. Every time you hear yourself say something like that negative internal dialogue doesn't do you any good. When you feel that, it just says to me, there's more I need to learn. More I need to learn. Kyle, good afternoon. PD, don't want to jinx myself, but that alone has saved me from many times from the past few weeks. Just stop and walk away instead of letting things get me worked up and going on tilt. 100% PD. Blake says, again, I shouldn't have been trading in the last 30 minutes anyway. It's against my trading rules. What are you going to do? You have to walk away. You have to take the mouse and you have to put it in a drawer. You have to feed it to the dog. You have to turn it off, take the battery out of it, whatever it takes. Steve Cannon, curious what people use for the opening range on NQ. 15 minutes looks pretty good. Opinions. Well, opening range to me is the first minute, Steve, and then the initial balance is the first hour. There's no real right or wrong way to do it. If that's what you want to do it consistently, and then maybe you'll find a way to consistently profit from it. Right? I'm a scalper, pretty successful at it. Most of my average trades is 2 minutes or less. Breaking rules. I did that today as well. Made 23 trades when I have a rule of only doing 5 or less. What are you doing? What are you doing? Pulled out a small win. Gotta follow our rules, bro. I hurt myself hard. Times. Kyle, bigger time frames give more information. I do trade opening range. I tend to base it on price level. Of gold was about it was the December contract, because we're going to be trading December. We try and notify that when in the weekly kickoff email. I believe tomorrow, December, will have the highest volume, and we have like months where we don't have to worry about a rollover in gold. I always look forward to the second half of the year trading gold. Ocean Blue. How do you have all this experience? You look so young. That's very kind of you, Ocean Blue. Maybe it's the stage makeup, which I don't have any, of course, but Michael, saw nothing today I wanted. Then I hope you did nothing. Michael Knight, people speculating, same people cause in the market. The Rooster on day 4 of winning streak. Hope to see it going tomorrow. Nice job, Rooster. Orion got saved by the loss. I shorted, but the top loss saved me at the stop loss saved you in the end. Good. Didn't make any trades today, saving myself for later this week. Keaton. My pleasure, Blake. And my only hope is that at some point, at some time, it's going to help you, and just at the right time, I'm hoping. Let's take a look here and see what we see in the charts. Here's the daily in crude. So we're looking at kind of a medium time frame balance, kind of a longer time frame push to the downside. We're all well aware of where we've been and where we are now as far as the move to the upside. Looking at short time frame control here in the middle of last week's range, in the middle of weekly kickoff levels. Got some information coming out this week. So today we opened in range and in value. We found better trade locations as the day went on. Here's where we opened. We traded up to here. This is pretty good trade location, although no short time frame level with which to lean on. Price moves lower. Where does it move to? The low of last week, takes a look inside the late spike we left on Friday. Don't forget we did open above the late spike. That should be rejection of lower pricing. We took one good look down into that late spike. We rejected, and then, of course, we resolve to the high. S&Ps, here's the daily. Open interest increase, open interest increase, open interest increase, open interest loss. Inside day and extended trading hour range. 30-minute. Opening in range and in value. Better trade locations are going to happen as the day goes on. The bottom of the initial balance ends up being a pretty decent level. Really just kind of the bottom of this area of consolidation from last night. Could have been something that would have told you that would be all right. C period can't take out the low of B. That looks pretty tasty. We rotate higher. We take out the high. We look above. We don't find anything. We rotate lower. We get down to rejection area here. We never did get to our weak low down here, which I find interesting. And then at the end of the day, pow, just a nice push to the upside. Nasdaq, going to be a little bit similar, but different. We took out Friday's low. We didn't take out Friday's low in the S&Ps. We did open in range and in value, so where better trade locations came pretty soon after the open here, but we did get some decent opportunities for the pullback up here, coming back towards settlement. I mean, to look for short time frame levels today, it seemed even difficult to do that. You know, take a look at the volume. Blah. Blah. Sound like Dracula. Blah. Blah. Look at the volume in the S&Ps. It looks a little better than it did about a half an hour ago, but still considerably lower volume. And on down days, the market tends to bring in higher volume. Would you call today a down day? Huh. Here's gold. I've got these adjusted for the August contract. Last week's high, not able to get to it. Inside day and extended trading hour range. Look at how low the volume is. Very low volume today. 30-minute. Inside extended trading hours. Opening outside of value. Taking a look higher. Really the push to the downside, I guess, was the fact that we, in a way, left a late spike on Friday. Opening in the late spike, pushed us lower. Now, this is not regular trading hours, but sometimes you'll see some important information when you see this continuation to the downside and you bring in a little bit more volume. That tends to kind of make me look a little past the 12:30 Central Time close. This 1 to 1:30 bar here looks relatively important, especially when we open inside of it, trade to the high of it, and then we continue to the downside. God, it's so... I don't know how markets remember all this, but they do. Look at this. Nada. Weekly kickoff high remains for the last 3 weeks. That's been the weekly kickoff level, 2 weeks perhaps. And boy, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 times we've tried to check down to it. Here we go. Last week's Friday's high, the high from today. Opening in range, better trade location after the open. Trading down to below the value area from yesterday. Just a lot of random walks here. Where did the market go? It didn't really go anywhere. It's been stuck here for a few days. And 10-year, even worse. Look at the volume here. Inside day, 30. Very small range. Very little opportunity. I would say that this would be a non-trend day. This would be a day that Jen Dalton would say, you don't even want to trade this market today. The opportunities are not big enough to get to decent reward over risk ratios. And I have to say, I agree with them. The market of the day, I think, we hear was the nat gas. I mean, decent volume. We've been seeing open interest increasing. The auction does appear to be healthy to the upside, and the market took us right up to and hung around weekly kickoff high. Look at this on the 30. Let me put the profile on here. So we get a late spike and continuation above that. That's very interesting. Very interesting indeed. We'll have to see how this market opens tomorrow. Opening in or above that late spike, we may be continuing to look to higher pricing. Kyle, any thought on liquidity in the market? The liquidity is likely to come into play in the next few days. Looking at the dome throughout the day today in the S&Ps, it looks a little bit thin already. A lot of participants just waiting for new information. Wait till you see, like, before the numbers come out over the next few days, you're really going to see some thin markets. We've got, tomorrow the market's already open. You got Case-Shiller Home Price Index and FHFA Home Price Index, which, typically aren't big market movers, but they're going to be tomorrow. Consumer confidence in new home sales at 9 o'clock. Look at how thin the dome becomes then. How about the FOMC announcement? There'll be single digits in the S&Ps in the dome. And when that GDP comes out on Thursday, that market is going to be extremely thin. So you're right to mention liquidity because it's going to be a difficult day as far as especially at specific periods of time, how thin the market's going to get. Ocean Blue, what's the definition of a weekly kickoff high or low? Well, Ocean Blue, we send out an email on Sundays that includes some specific levels for the markets. So let's look here at S&Ps. Let's look at gold because I think the kickoff levels are very tight in gold. I think there's something going to happen. So these levels, this black line here and this black line here are weekly kickoff levels. They are levels that I believe that the longer, stronger traders are going to be thinking about adjusting inventory. Now, we've got gold in rollover, so that may be a bit of a stretch. But these levels are where I think that the longer, stronger traders may look to adjust inventory. Now, Friday we got pretty close, I think, to that weekly kickoff high in gold. Let me make sure I've got it in the right spot here. Yeah, 1737. The high was 1738.30, so this is actually a little below this. So price got up there. If the longer time frame traders did adjust inventory, they came in and sold this market off. Sometimes if the market accepts above it, they'll come in and start buying it. So those are longer time frame levels of importance, I call them, inflection levels. And I calculate them using market profile information, technical analysis, some math, sometimes measured moves, and it's all some tea leaves and some chicken bones. So here's Make Hoke Money tomorrow. There's the link. And this is a earnings calendar that I look at. Now they're not always accurate, and they're not accurate probably on any news source. Yes, it's the tea leaves. It's the tea leaves. So this investing.com, they've got earnings calendar. They've got an economic release calendar. It's actually pretty good. So that's the one I'm usually taking it off of. And sometimes they have like a company missing or a company on the wrong day. But I find that it's relatively accurate. You know, tomorrow, don't forget after the close tomorrow, we've got Microsoft and Alphabet. Microsoft and Google, among others. Long list of earnings tomorrow. It's going to be yet another fascinating day in trading. So, on this day in 1978, the world's first baby to be conceived via in vitro fertilization was born in England. She weighed in at 5 pounds, 12 ounces. Interesting. And as far as music is concerned, birthdays. Jim McCarty, 1943, was the drummer for the Yardbirds. The Yardbirds birthed many of the great guitarists that are still working around the world today. We had Jeff Beck, we had Jimmy Page, we had Eric Clapton, all part of the Yardbirds. 1999, they had the Woodstock Festival. Didn't end very well. You know this, 1995. Charlie Rich died in his sleep at age 62. He had a great song that I remember my dad playing a lot, The Most Beautiful Girl. (1980), AC/DC released their 6th internationally released studio album, Back in Black. It was recorded without their former lead singer, Bon Scott, who died on 19th of February. The Carpenters started a 4-week run at number 1 on the U.S. singles chart with Close to You. They long to be close to you. If you've never listened to Karen Carpenter sing, you're missing something. It's going to be about enough. I don't know about that. Although I do have a goatee. Thank you, Blake. All right. Get some rest. Get some exercise, I think, tonight is going to be in order. Get some good rest tonight. Be up early, do your homework, and be ready to be patient. Being a profitable trader is boring. If you're bored, you're doing it right. Blessings, everyone. Be kind to yourself and to others. Say a prayer for world peace and peace inside of you. And we will be seeing you tomorrow morning at 7:45. Same bad time, same bad channel. Blessings to you all. Trade well.